7 years later, it was truly an exhausting day for a fox demon like Gulf. The day was starting to get dark, and Gulf had just finished all the tasks given to him by the head of the dorm. Fortunately, he still had time to visit his son in Kevin's room. Kevin was the child of Gulf and the Vampire King. Kevin Jongchevivet, have you eaten, son? Gulf asked as he sat beside Kevin, gently stroking his son's hair. I've eaten. Earlier, Aunt Shani, the head of the dorm, gave me food. She also told me that Dad was busy outside. Kevin replied. I'm sorry, son, Gulf said as he lifted Kevin to sit on his lap. It's okay, Papa. Have you eaten? Kevin asked. I have, Gulf lied. Really? Yesterday I asked Aunt Shania, and she said you hadn't eaten yet. That was yesterday, little bunny, Gulf said, pinching Kevin's nose. Kevin smiled. Are you bored? Gulf asked. Kevin nodded. Tomorrow, if Papa has time, we'll go out and have fun. Really, Papa? Kevin exclaimed. Yes, I'll try to make time, Gulf promised. Kevin hugged Gulf tightly, feeling happy because it had been a while since he had spent time with his father outside of his room. What do you want to buy? A book, Kevin answered after releasing his hug. A book, yes, a book. Kevin nodded. A book about? Suddenly, someone called out Gulf's name from outside Kevin's room. Gulf. Gulf lowered Kevin from his lap. Sorry, Papa has to go now. Don't stay up too late tonight, he said as he left Kevin alone in the room. Gulf didn't want to leave his son alone in his room, but what else could he do? He was just staying there and was always busy every day, helping other staff members while managing the girls in the dorm. Now, in the middle of Gulf talking with his son, he was once again called by other kitchen staff to help with the cooking, as it would soon be time for the girls to have their meals. Gulf was now in the dorm's cafeteria, serving the girls who were taking their food. You're here, Jaehoon greeted as Gulf arrived in the cafeteria. Gulf simply turned around without replying to Jaehoon's greeting. Jaehoon was used to being ignored by Gulf. Gulf was like that he didn't really care about what others said to him, except when it came to his son. Jaehoon was a staff member like Gulf, but sometimes their tasks were different. Occasionally, Jaehoon would have the same work schedule as Gulf like now. Jaehoon also shared a room with Gulf. Jong Jaehoon, can I have a little more? One of the girls asked Gulf when she felt that she didn't have enough food. No, Gulf replied. You're so handsome but so stingy. What a shame, the girl muttered. The girl muttered as she walked away to take more food. Gulf didn't react. He had often been called names like that by other girls. It wasn't that he didn't want to add more food to the girl's plate, but he was simply following the dorm's rules. There were still many other girls who hadn't gotten their share of food. You're cruel, Jaehoon whispered to Gulf. Once again, Gulf ignored him. He didn't even turn his head toward Jaehoon. However, after the incident with the girl, Gulf found himself facing another issue. The next girl refused to move forward to take her food. Gulf stared at the girl in front of him. Can I take a photo with you for a moment? The girl asked Gulf. No, just for a moment, please. Or, can I take a photo of you instead? No. Please move ahead. There are still many other girls I need to serve. I'm fine then. Do you want to take a photo with me? Jaehoon teased. No, the girl replied. Gulf refocused when the girl finally moved forward to take her food, although she kept glancing at Gulf until she sat down at the dining table. Don't do that, Gulf, Jahan whispered. Isn't she the girl who likes you? The one who keeps sending you letters? Golf turned to look at Jahan with a sharp gaze. Poor thing, and she's pretty too. You should let me have her instead. Jahan continued when Golf didn't look at him anymore. I heard she's even trying to get close to your kid just to get closer to you. Golf slammed his hand on the table, glaring at Jahan. Suddenly, Golf became the center of attention because of Jahan's actions. After a few moments, Jahan went silent, and Golf continued serving the girl in front of him. Damn, I slipped up, Jahan thought to himself. The girl who asked Golf for a photo earlier was Gabriella Margaret Angelina. Gabriella had liked Golf ever since she joined the church, but Golf never responded to her advances. Gabriella didn't care that Golf was a widower. She was determined to make him fall for her. Luckily, Golf had finished all his tasks for the day. He planned to take a shower and go to sleep. Tomorrow, he would ask Aunt Shania for a break from his duties since he had promised his son. After finishing his shower, Golf quickly headed to his room. Yeah, that's what Golf's room looked like. He shared the room with 4 other people. Golf's bed was on the right side, near the window. Next to his bed was Saint's bed, and in front of Saint's bed was Jahan's. And next to Jahan's bed was God's bed. When Golf entered his room, only God was sitting at the desk, focused on his studies. God had done it. God was a dorm keeper, much like Golf in personality, cold, but even colder than Golf. There were rumors that God might be gay. Since learning this, Golf preferred to keep his distance from God. Even though they shared the same room, Golf quickly closed the door and walked toward his bed. God turned when he heard the door close. Done with your shower? He asked coldly. Golf answered without meeting God's gaze. He lay down on his bed, pulling the blanket up to his chest, and closed his eyes. He didn't care whether God was still looking at him or not. A moment later, Saint and Jahan arrived in the room, causing God to lose interest in everyone around him. Aren't you supposed to be on night duty? Jahan asked as he sat down on his bed. Morning, God replied, tossing a piece of paper at Jahan before getting up from his desk chair and heading to his wardrobe to grab his black uniform. You're supposed to be on night duty, Jahan muttered. God ignored him, and after changing, he left the room. He's a bit crazy, Saint mocked, tapping his finger against his forehead. Jahan chuckled quietly. Huss, Golf's asleep, Saint warned when he noticed Golf was already fast asleep. Afterward, Saint and Jahan prepared to sleep as well, exhausted from their own tasks. 3:08 a.m. Golf woke up from his sleep, hurriedly took a shower, and began preparing breakfast for the girls. Afterward, he planned to request a one-day leave from Aunt Shania. Saint and Jahan were still sound asleep, and they would wake up about 20 minutes before the dorm bell rang. God was still on duty at the dorm entrance until 4 a.m. 4:36 a.m., Golf had finished his cooking tasks and immediately headed to the headmistress's office to request his day off. After Golf made his request, he was fortunate that Aunt Shania granted him leave. In fact, Golf even received extra money when Shania learned the reason for his leave request. Golf quickly ran to find Kevin, but as he wasn't paying full attention to his steps, he accidentally bumped into someone. Sorry. Golf quickly got up, though his left hand was slightly sprained. When he lifted his head, Golf was slightly surprised. It turned out that he had bumped into God, who had just entered through the dorm's exit. It's okay, Golf. Are you alright? God asked, Excuse me. I'll be on my way. Golf quickly walked away from God and ran toward Kevin's room. God continued to watch Golf leave until his figure disappeared from sight. Only then did God leave the front of the dormitory. It was unclear what was going through his mind, but before he left, God gave a small smirk, as if imagining something inappropriate. When Golf reached Kevin's room, he found Kevin still eating. Golf fed Kevin until the last bite was finished. Afterward, he told Kevin to get ready for a bath, because he planned to take him out for a morning walk. All done, Golf asked when he saw his son, now neatly dressed in a navy blue outfit. All done, Papa, Kevin replied. Golf took Kevin's wrist and guided him out of the room. As they walked through the hallways, many girls were watching Golf. Golf tried to ignore them, but Kevin seemed more affected. Finally, Golf decided to carry Kevin all the way to the dorm gate. At the dorm's entrance, there stood Mr. Kim, standing firmly at the gate. Mr. Kim saw Golf drop Kevin from his arms. "Where are you going, Golf?" he asked. Golf smiled slightly. "To take my son for a walk." "Oh, I see. Be careful. There are many people out looking for fugitives. Didn't you see the news on TV?" "No, I didn't." "Fugitives?" "Yes, a fugitive from the sale of drugs and narcotics. It said that the fugitive also raped a student." "Oh, well, thanks for the information. I'll leave first." Yes. Be careful. Don't come home too late." Golf nodded and walked to the park near the dormitory with Kevin. Arriving at the park, Golf quickened his pace to join Kevin. "It's quiet, Dad," Kevin said, seeing only a few people in the park. Golf smiled. "Let no one bother us," he said, grabbing Kevin's hand and inviting him to run. "Want to race?" offered Golf. "This time Kevin will win," Kevin exclaimed. Before Golf could count, Kevin was already running away from Golf. Golf smiled happily at his son's joy, but he quickly chased after Kevin because his son was running too far. "Hey, stop! Papa's tired," Golf called out. Kevin stopped and turned back to Golf. "Daddy, Kevin!" Golf ran to Kevin when he saw that his son had been hit by someone. However, before Golf could reach him, the man who hit Kevin was already helping him up. The man stared at Golf for a while, even as Golf hugged Kevin tightly in worry. Then, the man suddenly sprinted off as if being chased by someone. Golf couldn't recognize the man because he was wearing a black hat, clothes, and mask. "Are you okay? Is anyone hurt?" asked Golf anxiously. "I'm fine, Dad," Kevin replied. Golf released his embrace. "Let's get out of here, shall we?" "No, we just got here," Kevin whined. "Didn't you hear what Mr. Kim was talking about?" "Yes, I did. But, Dad, don't take Kevin to the park like this again," Kevin whined. Golf thought hard. "Well, we'll stay here, but not around here. Let's go over there, shall we?" offered Golf, pointing towards the playground. Kevin nodded. Golf took Kevin to the playground, which had a variety of children's games. The man who had hit his son left a lasting impression on Golf. All he could remember was the black jacket with a V on it and the tattoo on the man's neck. The tattoo depicted a fox surrounded by hands, with the fox's face visible among the hands. ****. After playing in the park, Golf took Mew to a convenience store to buy some snacks. "Which one do you want?" asked Golf. Mew pointed at a snack. "This one's just spicy, sweetheart. Pick something else." "Just this time, Papa." I don't often eat spicy food, Mew replied. Golf sighed. Alright, just this time. But next time, no more. Thanks, Papa. Golf then offered a variety of snacks, bread, burgers, sweet snacks, and a few drinks. So, do you want to go to the bookstore? Golf asked. Yes, Mew replied excitedly. Luckily, the bookstore was just a short walk away from the convenience store. Once inside the bookstore, Mew ran off to find the book he was looking for. After a while, he found it but couldn't find his dad. Mew was startled when Golf appeared behind him. See, I told you not to run around. Did you find the book? Golf asked. I was worried someone else would buy it. Papa. But I found it, Mew said, handing the book to Golf. A history book? Don't you want something else? Can I ask for something else? You can, as long as it's not something strange. With Golf's permission, Mew excitedly picked out 8 more books, each different from the others. Golf chuckled, not surprised by how much his son was holding back his desire to buy the books he liked. Sorry, did I get too many, Papa? Mew asked, looking at the stack of books in his arms. No way. Do you want to add more? If you do, why not? No, this is enough, Papa. Golf ruffled Mew's hair before taking the stack of books and heading to the cashier to pay. But to Golf's dismay, he realized he didn't have enough money. He glanced over at Mew, who was waiting patiently by the chairs, and he didn't want to disappoint his son. But the money was just short for the books Mew had picked out. Will you be buying these, sir? The cashier asked. Yes, but can you wait for me? I need to go home and get some more money. Sorry, sir. I can't break the rules of the store. Golf sighed deeply. Well then, let me pay for it. A voice interrupted Golf, and he turned to see a man who had just entered the store. Golf froze, recognizing the man immediately. Thank you, sir, the cashier said once the man finished paying for Mew's books. Golf stared at the man in front of him, unable to believe it. Are you alright? The man asked, noticing Golf's stunned expression. The man's words brought Golf back to reality. Wait here, I'll be back to return the money. No need. Is this your child? The man called out as he turned toward the little boy running toward Golf. Yes, Golf answered. Can we talk outside? Golf nodded, then followed the man, not wanting to owe him anything for helping him out. The man stopped at a bench and Golf sat next to him. Mew was sitting beside them, drinking milk. How are you? Are you doing well? The man asked Golf. Golf just nodded and smiled, his attention mostly on his son, who was spilling milk all over himself. Do you still remember me? Golf hesitated before answering. He remembered the man, but couldn't recall his name. Mao Phak from Ron Sathong. Sorry, I forgot your name. It's alright. Why are you here? Golf asked, curious. I'm just passing through. Golf nodded. No, I'm kidding. Mao laughed, clearly enjoying teasing Golf. Golf chuckled along. I actually have some business here. How about you? What are you doing here? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked. Nani continued, realizing that Golf probably had his own issues that led him to be here. It's fine. I'm staying at the Valen Crew dormitory. With your son? How long has it been? 7 years. Golf's phone rang, interrupting him. He quickly answered the call from Shania's mother. Hello. Take your child and leave. Don't bring me back to the dormitory. What? I said don't bring me back to the dorm. Stay outside until... Suddenly, in the background, Golf could hear loud screaming from the female students. Mother! Are you alright? What's happening? Golf asked urgently. The call abruptly ended. Sorry, I have to go. I'll meet you again to repay my debt, Golf said hurriedly. Before Mile could ask what was going on, Golf had already rushed off, picking up Mew and running in the direction of the unknown, leaving Mile clueless. As he rushed, Golf quickly dialed Mr. Lee's number, asking for his help in taking care of Mew for a while. Shortly after, Mr. Lee's assistant arrived at their meeting point. Golf handed Mew over to him before running back toward the dormitory. The dormitory? Move out of the way! 4 men stormed into the dormitory, forcing their way in. Each of the men was armed with a gun, causing the female students to panic. They screamed and ran in all directions to avoid the men. Lionel, over here. Hessel, go there. One of the men, the leader, ordered. With caution, the 4 men aimed their pistols forward, staying alert. The female students were terrified. The 4 men methodically searched every corner of the dormitory, ignoring anyone who tried to stop them. Golf had just arrived at the front of the dormitory and decided to take the back gate instead. Because the front door situation was chaotic, Golf headed straight for the back gate of the dormitory. Upon entering, Golf quickly made his way to his room. However, when he entered his room, he noticed his study desk was in complete disarray. He stepped cautiously, trying to figure out what had happened in his room. Shania's mother came out of her office when she heard the female students running and screaming. Who are you? Shania's mother shouted at the 4 men. We need to search the dormitory now, said the leader of the 4 men, showing his police badge from his pocket to Shania's mother. What's going on here? Asked Shania's mother. The man with the badge turned toward her. A man who was shot is hiding here. After that, he tried to continue searching the dorm, but Shania's mother stopped him. Show me the search warrant. The man turned back toward her. Without a warrant, I cannot give you permission. Shania's mother continued. Listen, without a warrant, I won't allow any man to enter this women's dormitory. The man stepped forward toward Shania's mother. We're after a fugitive from the north, he barked. Without a warrant, I can't allow you to enter, Shania's mother shot back. Do you think this is a joke? The man's patience was wearing thin as Shania's mother continued to block him. We don't have time for this, one of the men interjected. Let's just go inside. Lionel, search carefully, the leader ordered. Yes, sir. Suddenly, the leader's focus shifted to a student who had climbed upstairs. Golf took a deep breath. Slowly, Golf stepped forward, getting closer to the man lying weakly behind the desk. Once again, Golf was startled as he saw the blood on the man's back. Hey! Golf gently tried to wake the man. When he got no response, Golf carefully grabbed the man's shoulder and turned him over to see his face. Golf's heart raced as he recognized the man. The man had passed out from a gunshot wound. Flashback. A man being chased by 4 police officers was running through a small forest. Asterisk door. Bourne fired his gun, but he missed once again, the weather not helping his aim. Mean, head east with Hessel. I'll go west. Contact me as soon as you find him, Bourne ordered his subordinates. The 4 officers scattered in different directions to catch the fugitive. Door. Bourne's bullet nearly hit the fugitive's back. Bourne continued to run after the fugitive. Door. 2 more bullets whizzed by as the fugitive hid behind trees, just as Bourne and his men did to protect themselves from the incoming fire. The fugitive fired back at the officers. Refusing to back down, the officer shot more rounds toward the fugitive. Door, door. The fugitive immediately fired as a police officer tried to rush toward him. The officer ducked behind a tree, and the fugitive quickly sprinted off to escape. The police immediately resumed their chase. The fugitive turned and shot back. Door, door. He fired 2 rounds toward the officers, causing them to drop to the ground to avoid being hit. Are you alright? Bourne asked one of his subordinates. Yeah, alright. Bourne kept running, determined to catch the fugitive. The fugitive was now running downhill through uneven forest terrain. With sharp eyes, Bourne aimed his pistol toward the fugitive. Locking his sights on his back, Bourne successfully shot the fugitive, the bullet hitting his back and causing him to tumble across the dirt. However, despite the pain, the fugitive pushed forward, ignoring the gunshot wound as he ran, leaving his weapon behind. Bourne immediately pursued him. The fugitive eventually reached the metal gate, and as he surveyed the surrounding forest, he realized the police were nowhere in sight. With no other option, the fugitive climbed the gate and leaped from the height. You! The fugitive winced in pain as the bullet wound brushed against the gate he had climbed. He struggled to steady himself, trying to stand despite the pain. On the other side of the metal gate, there was a dormitory. The fugitive looked around, noticing how quiet it was, but his attention was suddenly drawn to the window on the upper floor of the dorm building. When Bourne and his team arrived at the back gate of the dormitory, Bourne saw the bloodstains on the metal gate. Let's head inside, he ordered his men. With no choice left, the fugitive began scaling the walls of the dormitory to reach the window he had spotted earlier. After managing to climb to the window on the top floor, the fugitive began smashing the glass with his fists until it shattered. The glass shards cut his hands and face, but he ignored the pain, throwing himself through the broken window and landing inside the dormitory. His body, covered in wounds, finally gave out and he collapsed unconscious. End of flashback. Golf's heart raced as he recognized the injured man. The man had passed out due to his gunshot wound. Hey, wake up, hey. Golf shook the man's shoulder, trying to rouse him. Seeing the amount of blood pooling beneath the man, Golf grabbed a tissue to cover the bleeding area and used a towel to wipe the blood from the man's forehead. Creak. Golf turned when he heard the sound of the door opening. Golf, the dorm director. Oh my god. Jehan's words were cut off when he saw the blood everywhere, and he collapsed to the floor in shock. That's blood, Jehan stammered, pointing at the pool of blood. Golf urged, trying to keep Jehan from panicking. Jehan complied, and Golf then asked him to help clean up the bloodstains near the window and on the floor. Golf's body trembled with fear and anxiety. He desperately tried to wipe the blood from every corner of the window. The blood was difficult to remove, so Golf decided to cover the window with curtains and clean up the glass shards. Move, don't block my way. Bourne's voice rang out as he shouted at the panicked students running around. Find him, he ordered. The students screamed in hysteria as Bourne pointed his weapon forward. Cring! The dormitory bell rang. Attention! This is an emergency. Outsiders have broken in. Everyone, lock your doors now. Until further notice, do not open your doors for anyone. I repeat, outsiders have breached the premises. Wherever you're right now, lock your doors. Do not open for anyone until further instructions. Stay inside. Failure to follow these orders will result in severe punishment. You may be expelled. Remember this? Mother Shania's voice echoed through the dorm's emergency microphone. Immediately, all the students followed Mother Shania's orders. Gulf, Saint's voice echoed as he entered the room, and saw Jahan and Gulf cleaning the bloodstains on the floor. Silence. Saint froze in shock. What happened? He asked, panic creeping into his voice. He was already here when I came back from the playground. Gulf replied. Through the window. Saint asked, his voice tense. I think he was being chased because of accusations. Gulf lead. This is crazy. What should we do? Saint said, becoming even more frantic. What do you mean? Of course we need to hide him. Gulf responded. Saint turned to look at Gulf and then took a few steps closer to the injured man. Gulf, isn't he a vampire who? No, I won't agree to hide him. We need to report to Mother Shania immediately. Saint protested. Please don't. He's injured. He's been shot. Please save him. Gulf begged, kneeling before Saint. The man who had been shot was none other than a vampire named Mew Suppasit, the one who had caused so much pain to Gulf. Saint loathed Mew for what he had done to Gulf, and just hearing his name filled Saint with anger. How could Saint possibly help this despicable vampire? Are you insane? You want to protect him? Saint crouched down in front of Gulf, who was still kneeling. Please help me, Saint. Don't report him. I don't care if you won't help, but please don't report Mew. Gulf pleaded. Gulf, Saint snapped. Seeing his friend in tears broke Saint's resolve. He couldn't stand to see Gulf like this so reluctantly. Saint decided to help him rather than leave him in distress. Alright, I'll help you, but I'm so scared. If they find out, we'll all be expelled. We could even be arrested. Maybe we should tell the dorm director. Please? Jahan spoke, his voice full of worry. Shut up. He won't fall on his own. Gulf replied, his voice full of urgency. I repeat, attention. This is an emergency. Outsiders have broken in. Everyone lock your doors now. Mother Shania's voice came through the intercom again. The police, frustrated that their task was becoming harder, threatened Mother Shania with their guns, but she remained resolute in protecting the students. He didn't care if she had to die defending them. Boren warned one of his men who had pointed a gun at Mother Shania not to get carried away, then instructed me to return to headquarters and request a search warrant. A long breath escaped Mew's mouth, signaling that he had regained consciousness. He's awake, Jahan asked Gulf. Open your eyes. Gulf urged Mew. Can you hear me? He said again. Slowly, Mew's eyes opened, his vision blurry at first but gradually becoming clearer. What do we do? He's awake, Jahan muttered, concerned. Does it still hurt? Gulf asked, trying to keep Mew awake. Once fully conscious, Mew tried to sit up with the help of Saint and Gulf. Where am I? Mew asked, still disoriented. This is the Valen crew dorm. You came in through that window, Jahan explained. Listen, for armed policemen are looking for you, Saint said, his voice serious. Mew paused, then grabbed the desk for support as he tried to stand. I have to leave, Mew said once he had managed to get to his feet. No, if you leave now, you'll be caught, Gulf protested. If I stay there, you'll be in danger, Mew replied, slowly walking toward the window with the help of Saint and Gulf. Mew peeked out from behind the curtain, looking down at the policeman standing beneath the window, searching for him. Damn, Boren muttered as he searched for Mew's whereabouts. He noticed bloodstains leading up to the window at the top of the dormitory building. Hassel, Boren called while shining his flashlight toward the window. Sir, I have the search warrant, said Mew, who had just arrived. Quiet, Boren snapped. Call for backup now. He's in the dorm. Yes, sir, Hassel replied. Saint, I have to pass this year to study abroad, Jaehan exclaimed, terrified that he might be expelled from the dormitory. Let's get him out of here, Saint said. And then, Jaehan asked, hearing the commotion between Saint and Jaehan. Gulf walked over to join his friends. We have to hide him somewhere safe. Where can we hide him in this women's dorm? Jaehan sighed in frustration. I have an idea, Gulf said. I know a place that the police can't access. Meanwhile, Mew slammed the search warrant down on Mother Shania's desk. He smirked, pleased that he could finally search Mother Shania's dormitory. Mother Shania followed Mew as he left her office. The 4 policemen now began inspecting each of the students' rooms inside the dormitory. Boren was the one who found the room labeled with the names God, Jaehan, Saint, and Gulf. Boren instructed his men to surround the door of the room they suspected. Mother Shania arrived at the scene, seeing the police pointing their guns at Gulf's room. Slowly, Boren touched the doorknob of the room. As he attempted to open the door, he found it locked, so with no other choice, Lionel kicked the door down. Door. The door finally broke open, and the police rushed into the room, with Mother Shania standing by the door. However, there was no trace of the fugitive. They were searching for only Jaehan remained in the room. On the other side, Mother Shania noticed bloodstains near the door of Jaehan's room. The police continued to search for Mew, inspecting every corner of the room. Hey, has anyone suspicious come into this room? Boren asked Jaehan. Jaehan widened his eyes. No, I didn't see anyone suspicious here. Are you alone? Where is your roommate? Boren asked. Suspicious. Jaehan froze. Boren, growing more frustrated, ran a hand through his hair while placing the tip of his gun on the table. Mother Shania saw how frightened Jaehan was and entered the room, just in case. Where are they? Boren asked. In the public baths, Jaehan answered quickly. Public baths, but the dorm director told you to lock the door and stay inside, Jaehan added, trying to explain. They left before she told them that. Jaehan continued. So, are you saying they went to the baths after the outsiders entered? Mew pressed him for more details. There's no intercom in the bathroom, Mother Shania commented as Mew stepped closer to Jaehan. Mew glared at Mother Shania. Mother Shania met his glare. They might not have heard me. Follow me, Boren ordered his men. Did you even check the bathroom? Mother Shania called out to Boren, but ignoring her words, Boren and the other policemen followed him toward the bathroom. Mother Shania glanced at Jaehan before following the officers. Jaehan sighed in relief. Oh my god. He felt calmer knowing that the police had been tricked by his words. With great effort, Gulf and Saint carried Mew toward the special bathhouse for the male volunteers. Gulf intended to hide Mew in a small room designated for men's showers. Inside, there was a tiny space that could potentially conceal Mew's body, offering some level of protection. Once Mew was safely hidden, Gulf and Saint quickly set to work, wiping the bloodstains from the bathroom floor. Move aside. No, you can't go in there. Are you crazy? You can't go in. Suddenly, Gulf heard Mother Shania's voice as she tried to block the police from entering the men's bathhouse. To Mother Shania, even though Gulf and Saint were men, she still treated them equally, just as she would treat any woman. Gulf, growing more nervous, quickly wiped the blood stains away. They are the men working in our dormitory. Do you really need to search the bathroom? Mother Shania stopped Boren as he tried to enter. Move aside. Boren pushed Mother Shania aside and slowly walked toward the bathroom door. However, just as Boren was about to open the door, Gulf and Saint quickly emerged from the bathhouse, each wrapped in towels around their waists and chests. To cover up their deception, Gulf was willing to expose himself in front of the other men. Boren stared blankly for a moment when he saw Gulf come out of the bathroom. What were you doing? Gulf said loudly, feigning annoyance. Boren snapped out of his trance when he heard Gulf shout. He shoved Gulf aside to get into the bathroom, followed by his 3 subordinates. Gulf, didn't I tell you not to come back until you hear from me? Mother Shania said, I won't let you all be in danger like this. Then where is Kevin? Is there anyone else in there besides you and Saint? I left him with Mr. Lee. It's just me and Saint in the bathroom. Thank goodness. You and Saint should return to your room now. With no other option, Gulf and Saint followed Mother Shania's orders and returned to their room. Gulf's anxiety gnawed at him. He continued praying that Mew wouldn't be discovered since that was the only place the police wouldn't be able to find him. A few minutes later, the police left the bathroom. From their faces, Mother Shania could tell that there was nothing unusual in the bathroom. She was about to go and check again, but seeing the police still loitering around the dormitory, she decided to follow them instead. After the police had searched every room in the dormitory and still hadn't found Mew, they decided to return to their headquarters. Once the situation seemed to be calming down, Gulf, Saint, and Jehan returned to the men's bathhouse. Gulf planned to move Mew's hiding spot to a larger wardrobe, a much more comfortable and secure location. Gulf, roll call in 5 minutes, Jehan said in a panic. Gulf, hurry up. Saint urged Gulf to return to their room. You two go ahead. I'll be there shortly. All right. Don't be late, Saint said, before he and Jehan left to return to their room. Gulf still had to clean the bloodstains on the bathroom floor since Mew's blood kept oozing out after he was moved into the wardrobe. With sweat dripping down his neck and face, Gulf kept pushing himself to finish cleaning the bloodstains. Then, I'll stay there for the night, Mew said, holding his back in pain. Do you think that's enough? Stay there until your wound heals. I'll find you a safe place to stay. Asterisk asterisk Gulf responded, not meeting Mew's gaze. He was fully focused on cleaning the bathroom floor. How can I repay you? I'm not helping you for free. Gulf stopped cleaning for a moment and looked back at Mew. Asterisk asterisk, this is for my child. Thank you for letting me take care of him alone. We're even now. After you're healed, you can leave without seeing me again. Asterisk asterisk. Mew gave a wry smile, unsure of what he was feeling, but his heart ached even more than the gunshot wound on his back. Gulf quickly resumed cleaning the bloodstains, working hastily until the bathroom floor was completely clean. I'll be back once roll call is done. Mew nodded. Gulf immediately closed the wardrobe door and left Mew alone in the bathroom. What? Are we just closing the case like this? Boren, who had just returned to the headquarters, was informed by his superior that the manhunt had been called off. They tried to kill people around our office, but he says they didn't. What can we do? His superior replied, we need to find out why he did it. What if you disturb him and cause even more casualties? Boren paused for a moment, then said, Sir, I'm sure he's not human. That's just your opinion. His superior snapped. Fine, let's assume you're right. So what? If you keep going like this, you'll endanger us all. Don't let us be known for inventing cases, he continued, then patted Boren's chest before leaving him alone in the room. Boren was frustrated. He immediately left his superior's office. There isn't a single article about this. How is that possible? He killed so many people, and there's nothing on TV? Mean said when he saw Boren coming out of his superior's office. 5 police officers and 21 civilians dead. Yet all we see is an article about the president's popularity. Boren grabbed a few newspapers to check if what Mean said was true. It's clear the higher-ups are suppressing this. Are we backing down? Boren turned to look at Mean. Of course not. Not. Boren slammed the newspaper he was holding onto his desk. That bastard. Boren took a deep breath. He's a vampire. I'm sure of it. Mean was taken aback by what Boren had just said. He stood up from his chair and stared at Boren, who looked furious at the fugitive they were after. You won't even give up on the community. Why are you telling me this? Mean, Boren interrupted. Keep an eye on the Valen crew dorm. With that, Boren left the room, leaving Mean alone. Mean gritted his teeth. Damn it. Please don't waste my sacrifice, sir. Get out of here quickly. We need to leave Mew. Once we're safe, you can go back and save Ken. Damn it. Are you crazy? Just for a few days. I owe him from when I was in his world. That's why I have to help him. Asterisk, asterisk. I don't want to hear it anymore. Just tell him to leave by dawn. Gulf, where have you been? Why are you sweating? I had a nightmare. I just came back from the bathroom. You're worried about me? No. It's just that I haven't seen a gunshot wound like this in a while. I left cabin with you. Mister, it's still not safe here. Do you want to take care of me until I recover? You said you have a brother who was caught while he was in my world. You still remember him? I always remember everything you say. You forgot? I also have a younger sister, and she acts like my mother. But I thought you paid me too much. Well then, you need to recover quickly so you can pay me back. You're always so boring. I think Bushania is suspicious of your room. What? Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because the police broke into your room.